Today on Motive Learn, join us in the challenge of spotting toxic relationships before they pull you in too deep. What does a toxic relationship look like? Let's find out in today's video right here on Motive Learn. Toxic relationships can be a silent killer, slowly draining our energy, creativity, and even our self-worth. And the worst part, they can be incredibly tricky to spot, especially when we're in the midst of them. But today, we're going to shine a light on this important topic and explore how we can identify toxic relationships before it's too late. Because let's face it, our mental health and personal growth are worth fighting for. One of the biggest reasons toxic relationships can be so hard to recognize is because they often start off with tiny, seemingly insignificant behaviors that can be easy to brush off. Maybe your partner makes a snide comment about your appearance, or a friend constantly cancels plans at the last minute. On their own, these behaviors might not seem like a big deal, but when they become a pattern, that's when the trouble starts. The problem is, by the time we realize what's happening, it can be too late. The emotional or psychological damage has already been done, and we're left feeling stuck, confused, and unsure of how to escape. Another reason we might struggle to spot toxic relationships is because we often don't want to admit that we've let ourselves get into a bad situation. We might feel like we're stuck or that we've invested too much time and energy to give up now. We might even convince ourselves that the other person is going to change, or that things will get better eventually. But deep down, we know the truth. We know that we deserve better and that it's time to take control of our own lives. The truth is, toxic relationships can be incredibly sneaky, and they can creep up on us when we least expect it. They can be hiding in plain sight, disguising themselves as love, care, or concern. But the reality is, toxic relationships are never about love or care. They're about control, manipulation, and power. And once we realize this, it's up to us to act and to break free from the toxic cycle. Toxic relationships can take many forms, and they can be with anyone. Romantic partners, friends, family members, even co-workers. They can be the ones who make us feel small, insignificant, or unimportant. They can be the ones who constantly criticize, belittle, or put us down. They can be the ones who make us feel like we're walking on eggshells, never knowing when the next explosion will occur. So, how can we identify these toxic relationships before they take over our lives? One of the biggest signs is manipulation. Do you feel like someone is constantly trying to control or influence your thoughts, emotions, or actions? Do you feel like you're being gaslighted or made to doubt your own sanity? Manipulation can be incredibly subtle, but it's one of the most powerful signs of a toxic relationship. Another sign is a lack of support. Does someone in your life constantly dismiss your achievements or make you feel like you're not good enough? Do they only show up when they need something from you, but disappear when you need their help? A lack of support can be incredibly draining, and it's a sign that someone is only looking out for themselves. Constant criticism is another major red flag. Do you feel like someone is constantly finding fault with you, no matter how hard you try? Do they make you feel like you're never good enough, or that you're always failing? Criticism can be incredibly toxic, and it can wear us down over time. An example and common story would look something like this. I once had a friend who seemed like the perfect confidant. We would talk for hours, sharing our deepest secrets and fears. But over time, I started to notice that every time we talked, I would leave feeling drained, anxious, and uncertain. It wasn't until later that I realized my friend was using me as a dumping ground for their own problems, and that they were constantly manipulating me to get what they wanted. It was a hard lesson to learn, but it was also incredibly liberating. I realized that I didn't have to tolerate toxic behavior, and that I deserved better. The turning point came when I finally recognized the pattern of toxic behavior and took action to distance myself from the relationship. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. I learned that I didn't have to be a victim, and that I had the power to choose who I surrounded myself with. And that's the most important thing I want you to take away from this video. You have the power to choose. In conclusion, identifying toxic relationships is crucial for our mental health and personal growth. By recognizing the signs of manipulation, lack of support, and constant criticism, We can take back control of our lives and choose to surround ourselves with people who uplift and support us. Remember, you deserve better and you have the power. If you've ever been in a toxic relationship, we want to hear from you. Share your experiences in the comments below, and let's support each other in our journey towards healthier, happier relationships. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video right here on Motive Learn.